Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Boba7772 and today I'm doing a review on the new Walking Dead issue 138 Confrontation. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is going to be kind of a review slash discussion, just kind of a warning, there will be spoilers. I think that's probably in the title anyway, but so yeah, this is issue 138 Confrontation. So just to, kind of give a brief synopsis of how this ended up. Gregory poisoned Maggie, and Jesus witnessed it, and then Gregory was gloating over a body. And also, Carl and Lydia were getting close and ended up having sexy times. So that is where that issue ended. So this issue pretty much picks up the same storylines. We start with Jesus. I love this. Jesus kicking Gregory like right in the back. It's great. Gregory totally deserved that. Gregory's face like hits a cabinet and he gets all like bloody nosed and he's like, "What the heck? I didn't do anything. She just passed out. Why did you attack me? Blah blah blah." And then Jesus is like, "Are you kidding me? Seriously?" He goes, and Gregory goes, "She just passed out." And Gregory goes, "If she dies, I'm going to kill you." And Gregory goes, is she dead? And then he goes, "You are a freaking dead man," in so many words. And then Maggie's like, "No, we don't kill." She's like, "Put me down, I'm fine." And she tells Gregory pretty much to shut up. The poison wasn't, he couldn't even poison someone, right? He goes, "Take Gregory back, put him in prison, and send Dr. Carson this way, then come back and, pretty much just start searching this area." And she wanted to see what kind of poison he used. So, that's fair. And then I love that scene. And then we get a cool scene with Lydia and Carl here. This is pretty much one of my favorite stories in all The Walking Dead so far because I love Carl and I love how they're actually starting to develop him. Like, we get him fending for himself in issue, I think it's 49 and 50, whenever him and Rick leave the prison. And then we have him killing Ben, we have him getting his eye shot out, we have him going to attack Negan. All of that cool stuff. Those are like the 4 prominent points in his life prior to the new beginning. And then we get his thing where he goes to Hilltop to become a blacksmith and meets Lydia. So pretty much he's sitting there talking with Lydia and Lydia's like, "That was nice," and Carl goes, "Uh-huh." And then Lydia starts talking like, "This is different than the other times. The other times it was like, too rough or blah blah blah, but it was but at least it was over soon." And then she goes, "But with you it was nice." And Carl's like, "What? They raped you?" And then she goes, "That's just a term that humans came up with, blah blah blah, doing all that." She goes, "It's just a natural way of life." And Carl's like, "That's ridiculous." And she's like, "Carl, please just let me finish." And he's like, "Okay." And she goes, you're showing me another way. Thank you. I really appreciate that." Then she says, "I don't want to go back." Right there, she says, "I don't want to go back." I absolutely love that. So then we have Carl talking to her more, and he's about to put his glasses on, and Lydia's like, "Don't cover your eye, it's beautiful." And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." But I love that part. And then we get to, I'm loving the part with Gregory. This is great. They may have just put it in here for like drama with Carl and then just like humor with Gregory. And Gregory's like, "Let me out, I didn't do anything." And they're like, "Shut up, Gregory, Jesus Christ." And then Maggie pretty much says, "Can you be more pathetic?" And then this dude runs up and goes, Oscar, the guy's name is Oscar, he runs up and he's like, "Maggie, come quick." And Jesus like, "Can I wait?" And he goes, "No, it can't." So Maggie and Jesus go and they have this full frame, this full splash here on 2 pages. Looks really nice. We have the Whisperers just kind of standing out in front of Hilltop, and the leader's standing there with the gun looking like this, looking all awesome, and pretty much asks Maggie if Maggie's the leader, and she goes, "I am." And she says, and I quote, "What you have gathered here is very impressive, and I have no intention for there to be any kind of conflict between us, but you should know we are more than capable of defending ourselves, and we will." And then the Whisperer leader says, "Conflict? There will be no conflict. You come into our lands, there will be conflict. You kill our people, there will be conflict. You are here and there is nothing here. Wait, you're here, and there is nothing here, nothing of yours that is any interest to me or my people. And then pretty much takes the mask off, and it reveals this woman who pretty much is bald, and she goes, I am Alpha, and I show you my face because I mean you no harm. We only want one thing from you, my daughter. And then Maggie goes, is your daughter, is that Lydia? And Alpha goes, that is her given name, yes. So Maggie's pretty much like, your daughter killed some of our men, and Alpha says, your men were attacked for intruding into our land, for compromising our safety. What have you done with her? And then Maggie says, your daughter has not been harmed. And Alpha says, neither have your men. So next we see, I think it's Dante and Ken. I think it's Ken, but we see two of them. One of them is Dante. Really glad to see he's alive. And she's like, I propose a trade. Give me my daughter, I'll give you these guys. And Maggie's like, that's a good trade. You know, everything's good. So Maggie's like, just give me 10 minutes or so to gather up Lydia and her things, blah, blah, blah. So Maggie heads back in, and then we cut to Carl, and he's like, no. And Maggie's like, what are you talking about? No? And he goes, she can't go back. Lydia, tell her. And Lydia's just kind of standing there silent. Maggie's like, Carl, I just found out 2 of my men are alive, and I'm very glad to find that out. We are going to make this trade. We are giving Lydia back, and we are going to get my men back. And Carl's like, they hurt her. They do bad things. Lydia, tell her. And Lydia doesn't say anything. And then Lydia takes, because Lydia's wearing Carl's hat right now, and she takes it off, and she's like, Carl, please. And she's like, I'll go. And then, you know, this kind of kicks back to earlier when she says, I don't want to go. She said, and then Carl says, what? You don't have to do this. They hurt you. I can protect you. And then Lydia kisses Carl. Picture there. Artwork. I wonder how awkward Charlie Adler feels. I think that's his name. Charlie Adler feels about drawing all of this. He has to feel at least somewhat awkward. And she's like, they may hurt me, but they're still my people. And Maggie's like, you've only known her for a day. Which brings up something interesting that I wanted to bring up. So Carl has only known Lydia for a day. It grew very close to Lydia, so I can totally see why he doesn't want her to go. But with Maggie saying you've only known her for a day, I found it kind of ironic because Maggie and Glenn barely knew each other at all before they started doing stuff and then falling in love and all that, and then they got married even. So I found that very odd that Maggie was like, you've only known her for a day, because it kind of reflected back to how Maggie barely knew Glenn, at least, you know, at first. They grew to know each other, but, and I'm sure that was kind of running through Maggie's head and Carl's head as well. And then they bring her out, and Lydia's like, goes up to her mom, and she like holds out her arms like that, and she's like, mom or something, and then Alpha's like, you call me Alpha like the rest. And then they start heading off, and she kind of looks back at Carl really sadly, and Carl looks at her really sadly, and we have another one of these splash pages, which I love how there's 2 of them in here. Like, you know, we don't get them all the time, but when we do get them, it's a treat. If we did get them all the time, it would not be the best, because it would be kind of like, if you get something that is rarely there, and it being rarely there is what makes it such a treat, then that's kind of, you know, that's what makes it a treat. But if it's there all the time, then it doesn't, which I'm not saying that The Walking Dead does it all the time, but it's been done twice in this issue, which isn't a problem. I'm just saying that I hope they don't do this like every issue, pretty much is what I'm saying. But I love this page because Lydia's kind of looking back at Carl. Carl's, you can see his head's kind of down and he's holding his hat. And then this is where Carl is pretty much yelling at Maggie. Maggie's like, you've only known her for a day. Carl's like, this is ridiculous. And then Maggie's like, I have to go go check on Dante and them. So she goes to the med place and checks on Dante and Ken. I believe it's Dante and Ken. And Ken is still being all flirty. Ken, or Dante, I think it's Dante, it might be Ken, I don't know. One of them says that they had him blindfolded, they moved all the time, but by the way they talked, it sounded like there were thousands, which is kind of a stretch. I doubt there's really thousands, but, you know, what else? I guess there could be. And then we go to the next page, and Sophia's like, Carl, Mom says that you're upset. She wanted me to talk to you, Carl. And then Carl opens the door, and she's like, Carl? And she's got this kind of horrified look on her face. And then we can see Lydia talking with Alpha. She's like, sorry, I lost my skin. And Alpha's like, it's fine, just stay quiet, stay in the middle of us. I assume that's so the walkers don't attack Lydia. And she goes, you are strong and I am happy. We must keep our voices down. And Lydia goes, yes, Alpha. And she just kind of looks down sad. And then the last page, we have Carl looking out. So Carl's going after Lydia. Now, I thought this was a really good issue. It was, I think it was a little bit strange that Carl went after her, only with literally knowing her like less than a day. But I kind of get why, because of what happened at the end of last issue, for one thing. But another thing is that she said that she was raped, so it's not really a pristine culture. It's not really a culture that I would want to be at, because their morals kind of really suck if they kind of treat their people like animals, I guess, and that's kind of what the Whisperers are aiming towards, maybe. But I don't like where they're going, or I like where they're going with the Whisperers, but I just don't like the Whisperers. Like, they're good antagonists to make me just not like them. And you know, there's a billion ways they could go with it. Spoiler alerts for this, they announced a couple of new covers today, which is Thursday, which are coming out in June or July, one of those months. I think it's June, and it's a double issue one, and the first one has a festival and everything on the cover, which they've been talking about for a while, and then the other one has Carl and Lydia on it, which I think is really cool, and Lydia's wearing the hat and everything. So I think that things are looking good for at least how I want them to look good. Things are looking up for Carl to be with Lydia after that, but I can see why Carl's going after Lydia. I guess if I know why he's doing it, but I know that it's partly because he has feelings for her, but then also it's partly because she's going back with these people who rape her, who probably abuse her. They probably do a lot worse than what Lydia has said, so I don't trust them. They're kind of... You'd have to be crazy to put walker skins on you, zombie skins all over your body, and to... I mean, just like all the stuff that happened, it's kind of ridiculous. That group just seems pure evil. But, you know, all in all, this was a really good issue. I absolutely love it. I love where they're going with the Carl Lydia storyline. I love the whole thing with Gregory and Maggie and Jesus. We still have the redneck parents who want to kill Carl. Gregory wanted to kill Maggie. That failed. They still want to kill Carl. So is Maggie still in danger? I don't know if Maggie is. I strongly believe Carl is. I don't know if the redneck family is going to be like, yo, I'm sorry, Maggie. We didn't mean to. We were just angry at the time, blah, blah, blah. Or if, like, because I'm assuming that Gregory might rat him out or something. And then Gregory, or they're like, what are you talking about? We never teamed up with Gregory. That's ridiculous. He's lying. Because, you know, they could say that if Gregory tried to rat him out. Or they could just try to go kill Carl again. And I really hope they don't do that, because that would be very, very sad. Carl is my favorite character. But like it was really cool. So I'm keeping a couple of things in the back of my mind. First of all, Maggie, what she said to Carl about not knowing Lydia long, even though she didn't know Glenn long. I'm feeling that might come into play at some point. Another thing to keep in mind is redneck family. I want to see how Carl's story goes, because I absolutely love Carl, and then we'll probably see some more stuff, hopefully with Gregory and whatnot. Really looking forward to the next couple issues. We have Rick looking out at the boat, so we might get some Carl stuff in that issue. That issue we might just completely miss Carl and Maggie and all of them just all together. And then the next issue we have Maggie on it, so obviously we'll go back to Maggie. She looks horrified in her room, so I don't know what she walked in to see. I've heard somebody think that she walked in to see Carl missing, which I don't know why that look would be on her face. I'm thinking that maybe the family like came in, the redneck family came in and killed Gregory, or somebody killed Gregory. I don't know. That's a possibility that could happen. There's a billion possibilities. And then the next issue is the Negan one, and then the next one is the Fair, and then the next one is the one with Carl and Lydia. So this is getting really good. This is like some serious build up, but it's really good. Once again, I love the art on it. The cover is just I love this cover. It's not as good as my favorite cover, which was the last issue. This is probably my favorite cover, probably because it's got my favorite character on the front. But that just looks sweet. This looks amazing too. I'm loving this cover. I think that they did an absolutely wonderful job on it. All the art in here too, like it just looks wonderful. And I've shown you some of my favorite scenes in here, but like every time they show Lydia, I really like how they draw Lydia. I also love how they draw Alpha. She looks really cool with her bald head and everything. Maggie, I don't dislike Maggie or anything. I just like her less and less. Not that it has anything to do with the artwork, but just the character herself. Here's another one I really like of Lydia and Carl right there. You can see Lydia's face just kind of blackened out, shaded out. I think that that's really cool. I love Lydia just kind of walking and kind of looking over her shoulder at Carl over here this way, and Carl's just looking sad. I love that. And then the first page, you know, everyone's got to love the first page. Jesus just kicks the heck out of Gregory, and then Gregory like hits his nose and it starts bleeding. Anyway, like just absolutely wonderful. So if you have any thoughts about this comic, leave them below. I'll reply to you. I love having conversations about this. There's also a couple other places that I talk about The Walking Dead. Just kind of like, I guess, shout out type thing. MAPP Presents is a really cool YouTuber who does like all stuff Walking Dead. So he does comics and TV show stuff. So, you know, if you go and watch his videos, like the community there is great, and you'll be able to talk to people about this stuff, and it's all really fun. Also, I think it's thewalkingdeadforums.com. And then there are some forums, and I love talking on there. There are people there. I've actually gotten tagged once or twice, because like once they know you and see that you are like active in their community, they'll tag you if like a new cover is revealed or new preview panels or anything like that. So those are two really cool places that have Walking Dead stuff that you can, you know, discuss it with others, because that is half the fun. You have to wait a month, so what are you going to do in that month? You've got to discuss this stuff. I'm just going to flat out give this comic, like this issue by itself was perfect. There's nothing wrong with it, nothing I think they could have done better, nothing I think they messed up on. I think that it was great. I would go get it. Like if you're reading the comics right now, like I have to go pick this up first thing in the morning. It was delayed in my town by a couple hours. I went like store to store to store. It was delayed for the entire town, I found out. Their comic shipments, really strange. But I didn't go to the comic book store to get it like I usually do. I got it at like a Hastings or something, because they got it a couple hours earlier, and I had to read it. I absolutely love this. This series in general, but it's so good. I would highly recommend starting. I think that if you want to get in somewhere, just jump in. You can get like the compendiums and the volumes and stuff, and then 137 is this, or 127 is this new storyline that's been going on for, wow, I think it's been 11 or whatnot issues now, because 137 to 138. So just, you know, very, very awesome. But yeah, I would highly recommend getting into this series, because it's a great series. And that is all I have to say. I'm just rambling now. So thank you for watching, and until next time, Boba7772 out.